Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. Today, February 19th, 2022, we are continuing to monitor the situation with Ukraine and Russia. And right now, we are hearing coming out of NATO that the NATO High Command believes that indeed Russia is going to launch a large scale attack against Ukraine. Now, will that be an attack with the intent of taking over all of Ukraine? Will it be an attack that looks to quite possibly seek to make Kiev capitulate? Is it an operation to take the eastern areas of Ukraine that run east of the Dnieper River? Well, I can tell you in any case, it is going to be a war probably not seen in history for quite some time. And what I mean by that, the intensity and magnitude of the possible fighting, again, I would wager to say that nobody currently alive, except for some maybe very, very old World War II veterans, maybe some Korean War veterans, um, may have witnessed the type of carnage and high intensity warfare that we are going to see if and when Russia and Ukraine engage in an open war. Again, Ukraine is a very large country, 40 million people, a nation state as big as Texas. So kind of conceptualize that for a second. Again, with a higher population than the state of Texas, it has huge industrial areas. It has a very large military, and a military that is starting to mobilize as we speak. On the low end, the Ukrainians right now field in excess of 200,000 personnel. And in all probability, very, very quickly, you're looking at 250,000 personnel, probably very quickly. And then at the same time, you're looking at a very large Russian force that is also assembled as well. So, what is getting NATO nervous in terms of Russian activity? Well, I would say that there's probably a couple of things. One, they're probably looking at Russian air assets. They're looking at Russian naval and Russian um, ground strike assets that would probably be used during the opening phases of any large scale conflict. Now, with that being said, does that mean that we're going to see some sort of a shock and awe against Kiev with a large scale aircraft bombing the city and cruise missiles raining down on Kiev? We could, and at the same time, we may not see that either. Again, it just depends on how quickly Putin wants to escalate this and what his overall military goals are. So, in theory, we could see something more locally isolated in the east and then quickly expand to other areas, or we could see something happen fairly quickly in which we do see targets in Kiev getting hit. At the same time, we're probably also seeing some of these battalion tactical groups being broken up into company maneuver formations, and then they are moving now towards their phase lines. And with those phase lines, they'll have a second set of phase lines where they would then attempt to move to and take a given military objective between those two phase lines. And NATO is probably starting to see some of these units now move towards what they believe are these quote unquote attack points, or these jumping off points, or these phase lines, where you normally don't stay for any extended period of time. Usually when you're sent to your phase line with a military objective, things are going to happen pretty quick after that. Or you're going to be pulled back and you're going to receive additional orders, or you could be pulled back and then you could be redeployed to that very same phase line with the intent of seizing the same objective. But again, very hard to say. He has a lot of options, meaning Vladimir Putin. By all indications, we're looking at elements of 100 to 125 of these battalion tactical groups. So again, that gives the Russian General Staff quite a bit of options to select from, depending on what their overall war strategy is and what their war goal is as well. So again, very, very difficult to say what's going to happen next. But right now, by all indications, from what's being reported, it would appear that some sort of military action is in fact imminent. Now, again, until it actually occurs, it hasn't happened yet. Now, we are seeing some operations take place. We're seeing shelling and fighting going on, which is not uncommon to the area in eastern Ukraine, but it is of a higher intensity right now, which opens kind of Pandora's box in terms of pretext operations and things of that sort. So again, obviously, whatever is happening has NATO and has the West very, very concerned. At the same time, with that being said, we are starting to see a relatively a new strategy in terms of some of the intelligence games that are being played between the U.S. intelligence apparatus, Western intelligence, and the Russians in terms of trying to identify what the Russians may be up to, and then openly announce what they, meaning the United States, believes is going to happen next, and then announces that. And that's kind of what we're seeing right now, kind of going back and forth. But I think at a certain point, the Russians may just ignore all that and do what they have to do, if they're in fact going to do that. But again, huge, massive force construct, the like that we've not seen probably in most of our lifetimes. I think we'd have to go back to individuals who fought in World War II or the Korean War to quite possibly see the level of intensity in terms of the type of war that could be conducted between Ukraine and Russia. Again, Ukraine is not a small country. It's a very large country with significant industrial capacity, has a very big military, 200,000 plus personnel that can rapidly expand to much, much more. And again, and obviously we know what Russia's capabilities are. And this just leads to really kind of a perfect storm that, again, I don't think the world has seen in many, many decades. So stay tuned, and we'll continue to cover. And if and when this kicks off, we'll try to give you, the viewer, our best insight into what's going on, what some of the war strategies are, what some of the war goals are, and how that is exactly panning out as the conflict persists. But more to come soon. Have a good day.